Hello, this is Pallavi and I'm making this video as a part of my icp5 of web and mobile programming. I have already some source code given to me, and this is about employee employer some functionalities using SQLlite, and I have to understand the flow of the source code from source code to UI, and I have to run and execute it, and I have to add two more functionalities. I have to delete the employee details and I have to update the employee details. I'll show you in my code. This is the main activity that I do have here, and as usual, when clicked, I'm going to start a new intent and I'm setting a on-click listener. I'm just going to navigate from main activity to the new activity. And let's go to the employer activity. In this activity, all I have is save and search button. On save button, I'm getting the values from it, converting them into string, and I'm going in and trying it. And I'm using the calendar data type to set for the date, and we are passing it here and converting it to string. And here in values.put, our database name, .employer is our table name, call date and the date. Here we are putting it here, date we are putting it here. Values.put, our database name, our column name, and our whatever we got from here. Using put, we are putting it into this database of this table, and here what is our values. This is executed when we click on save, and a toast maker, it will come like kind of notification or alert that we use in Android. I'll show how the toast looks like, and we'll just show that the new ID is entered. When we click on search, we will read from database. First we will take the name, description, and converting it to toString, and if it's a calendar, we have to type this. If we found this, we are going to execute something like how we will write the query in SQL. The select from this if it is like whatever the query that we have written here. Sample db contract dot employer is our table name, dot column name if it is like, and our sample code if it is like this, if it's a date, if it is within that, and column description is like this. And we will execute this query for searching this. This is the employer activity. And coming to employee activity, okay, in delete record in DB, that is what we have added in this. We are taking the first name or the last name, whatever we are trying to do, and using database SQLlite helper class, we are going to get the database, if the first name or last name. See, database dot delete, sample database is our database name, employer is our table name. It's our table name where if ID is equal to ID, then we are getting the ID using the first or last name there, and then using that ID we are deleting it here, and we are logging that is being deleted. That is the delete functionality. Here in update, we are getting the first name or last name, and what we are updating is only the description. So the same thing, string first name and last name. Here we are getting the ID again. After we get the ID, values.put as I said, we are just updating the description part. So as I move on here, values dot put description, and whatever we got it from the new thing, that I'm just putting it and updating it. And database dot update the sample, this name, table name, values, the ID, whatever we have, whatever the new value we have, and using the where clause ID we are updating it. This is the save to database that I showed previously. We are getting the all values here, then we are getting the calendar thing, and just doing the put, values dot put, as I showed in the previous employer thing. And read from DB is the same function that I showed here, where we will be getting from database using the select clause. This is all the code we have. So let me just show a few extra classes here in SQLlite helper. We will create a database and create versions of it. Here in sample DB contact, how the employer this select, delete, employer name, create database, how like table name with the table name, ID, column name. These are the queries we could use here if we want them to be called in some other things. Let me show my demo. Thank you. Hi, this is Pallavi. I am making this video as a part of my icp5. icp5 is to use a firebase to sign in, and I'll show you the functionality how I have implemented it. First I'll have to go to my firebase account, where I'll have to register a new Android app, and using the auth that we have library, we are going to implement it. The first one is a login page here that I'm going to show how we did the login. Here, using this auth dot sign in with email ID, we will pass our email and password. If our action is completed, we are going to be executing this code. If it is not successful, we will make a toast saying authentication failed. Using this, we are going to log in. Our main logic is here, and the before and after part, we are just checking for is email valid, is password valid, is everything things. This is the login page, and I'll explain how our sign up page works. It's the same thing. We'll check if everything is empty, what we have to do is empty, what we have to do is password less than 6, what we have to do. If all is true, what are we gonna do is we're gonna just show the toast that Firebase is signed up successfully, and auth.create username with user with email and password. This is what is a function that has auth, and we are gonna call it using the email and password. Then our home page is gonna be this, where I have to implement the logout. Here I have a button called as logout, and this logout button dot set click action listener set when this button is clicked, this action listener is gonna be implemented. And this firebase dot we are gonna get instance, and dot sign it is a function that we need to call it, and our terms will be signed out. Then I show you my forget password activity. Here whenever our reset password activity is shown, we are going to take the email ID. If it's empty, what are we going to do? After that, auth.send password reset email. Using this, we are going to send. If it is successful, what we have to do. If it is not successful, what we have to do. Then we are just using this go back button. We are just going back to the button, and that email ID that we will receive, we will have a link to reset the password, which will be handled by the Firebase. And this is a welcome activity that we have. Then user is a class that has a name and a phone number, which we're gonna take up in the home page here. And that is all is our Firebase code, and I'm gonna show it again. Thank you. Hello, I'll show you. This is my application. First I'll show you employer activity. This is the basic activity that we have. Company name, let me give veterans. Description, it was a mortgage company. And let me just give the same thing, as I'm not so much comfortable with dates. I'll just save it. The row ID 4 is inserted. That's what toast class that we have. Then let me go back. Employee activity. Here I'll insert as Shreya, last name Joshi, birth name, I'll give the same thing as I told. So okay, here we could see all those things. I'll choose veterans and save it. Okay, so I'll go to the employee activity. What I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to delete here. So what I'll do, I'll search by Shreya and I'll search here. As you can see the details here. So let me just update the job description. What I had the job description as Pallavi. Now I'll update the job description as software engineer. The update operations will be called, and I'll update it. Okay, if I search now, see that this description is changed, and I can see it's a software engineer now. So now I have to show how I have deleted it. So if I Shreya, I have it and delete it, and if I search, I can't see anything now. Update and delete operation is successfully completed. Thank you. Hello everyone. This is the Firebase application that I have. So let me just sign up first. I do have this already created account, so let me just sign in, and the password is 12345. So I'll just sign in or registered. Authentication is failed since I entered the wrong password. Okay, I'll sign in or registered. Yeah, I went in. This is my name and this is my phone number, and if I save, it will come over there. So the implementation that I have to do is I have to implement the logout. If I just log out, it will just come here. If I forget my password, if I give it reset the password, it's been sent to my email ID. Now I'll get my mail, new mail that just received now, and I can go here and reset my password, and I'll save it. Now if I go back, I'll go back, sign in, and sign in with my old password, new password. See, I could go in, and I'll just log out again. So this is the application.